Welcome to today's story, my loves. Before we dive into today's story, kindly subscribe to my channel and share this story with your friends. Your support means everything to me. Now, let's get right into it. In the dead of night, Kimi clawed desperately at wooden boards above her head. Her stepmother had buried her alive, and somewhere above the earth, she could hear wedding drums beating. But what her stepmother didn't know was that some spirits refused to rest in peace. This happened in the town of Akia, where Chief Bowler lived with his daughter Kimi. Chief Bowler was a wealthy palm oil merchant, and Kimi was the light of his life. When her mother died, she had whispered to 5-year-old Kimi, "My daughter, always remember, a pure heart is your greatest protection." For 11 years, father and daughter lived happily. Kimi grew into a beauty with a golden heart. She helped the poor, cared for the sick, and everyone loved her. But Chief Bowler was lonely, and loneliness makes even wise men foolish. During the harvest festival, he met Adani, a widow from a neighboring village. Adani was beautiful, charming, and knew exactly what to say. She praised his wisdom, admired his wealth, and within 3 months, they were married. At first, Adani played the perfect stepmother. She brought gifts for Kimi, cooked her favorite meals, and even braided her hair. But Kimi's grandmother had taught her to watch people's eyes, not their mouths. And Adani's eyes were cold as river stones. "Something is wrong with that woman," Kimi told her best friend Funmi. "She smiles, but her smile never reaches her eyes." "You just jealous," Funma laughed. "Give her a chance." But Kimi's instincts were sharper than a hunter's arrow. Everything changed when Tunde arrived. He was Adani's nephew, tall and handsome, with smooth words that could charm birds from trees. He came to visit for a week and stayed for months. Chief Bowler welcomed him warmly, even giving him work in his business. What Chief Bowler didn't see were the secret glances between Adani and Tunde. What he didn't hear were their whispered conversations in the garden. What he didn't know was that they had been lovers long before Adani married him. But Kimi noticed everything. One evening, she saw them embracing behind the palm trees. Her heart pounded as she watched Tunde kiss her stepmother passionately. "When will you get rid of him?" Tunde whispered. "Soon," Adani replied. "But the girl is the real problem. As long as she's alive, she'll inherit everything." Kimi's blood turned to ice. She crept away, her mind racing. She had to tell her father, but who would believe such a terrible accusation? The next morning, she tried to warn him. "Papa, I need to tell you something about Adani and Tunde." But Chief Bowler was rushing to a business meeting. "Not now, my daughter. Whatever it is can wait." That was his greatest mistake. That night, Adani prepared a special dinner. The aroma filled the house as she served Chief Bowler his favorite pepper soup. She watched eagerly as he ate every drop. Within an hour, Chief Bowler was writhing in agony. The village doctor was called, but it was too late. By dawn, Chief Bowler was dead. "Poison," the old medicine man whispered to his assistant. "I can smell it in his body." But who would dare? Adani wailed louder than anyone at the funeral. She tore her clothes, threw herself on the coffin, and cried until her eyes were red. Everyone praised her devotion. "What a loving wife," people said. "See how she suffers." But Kimi watched those tearless sobs and knew the truth. According to tradition, there was a mourning period before the inheritance could be settled. But Kimi was now 17 and legally entitled to her father's wealth. The family lawyers made it clear, everything belonged to her. This was when Adani's mask finally slipped. "You think you're so smart," she hissed at Kimi one night. "Your father is dead, and soon you'll join him." "What do you mean?" Kimi asked, though she already knew. "You saw us that night, didn't you? You know what we did to your precious father." Kimi's hands trembled, but she kept her voice steady. "You killed him." Adani laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Proving it is another matter. And dead girls tell no tales." That night, Kimi didn't sleep. She knew she was in mortal danger, but where could she run? Who would believe her? She was trapped in her own home with two killers. She decided to gather evidence. The next evening, she hid behind the kitchen door with her father's old recording device, hoping to capture their confession. But Adani was cleverer than she appeared. Looking for this, Adani stepped out of the shadows, holding the device. Behind her stood Tunde with a wicked smile. "Did you really think we didn't know you were spying on us?" Tunde laughed. Before Kimi could scream, they grabbed her. She fought like a wildcat, but Tunde was too strong. They dragged her to the back of the compound where Tunde had already dug a grave-sized hole. "Please," Kimi begged. "I won't tell anyone. Just let me leave town." "You right," Adani said coldly. "You won't tell anyone. Ever." They threw her into the hole. Kimi's head struck a rock, and everything went black. When she woke up, she was in a wooden box, and she could hear dirt being shoveled on top. "No!" she screamed, pounding on the wooden lid. "Help me! Somebody help me!" But her voice was swallowed by the earth. Above ground, Adani dusted off her hands. "Tragic accident," she told Tunde. "Poor girl fell into the old well behind the house. So sad we couldn't find her body." They reported Kimi missing to the police. Adani cried convincing tears as search parties combed the forest. After a week, they declared her dead. But here's where the spirits of the ancestors decided to intervene. As Kimi lay dying in that makeshift grave, her grandmother's spirit appeared to her. "My child," the spirit whispered, "your time has not come. But you must choose, die as a victim, or live as an instrument of justice." "I choose justice, grandmama." The spirit touched Kimi's forehead, and suddenly, the wooden box began to crack. The earth above started to shift. Kimi felt strength flowing through her limbs like liquid fire. She pushed upward with supernatural force, breaking through wood and soil like they were paper. Her hand burst through the surface just as the morning sun was rising. But when she climbed out, she was no longer entirely human. Her grandmother's spirit had given her the power to see truth and deliver justice, but at a price. She looked the same, but now she could appear and disappear like mist, and her eyes glowed with otherworldly light. Meanwhile, Adani and Tunde were celebrating. They had moved into the main house and were planning their wedding. "In 1 month, we'll be married," Tunde said, counting Chief Bola's money. "And all of this will be ours legally." "That stupid girl made it so easy," Adani laughed. "If she had just been nice to me, I might have let her live as a servant." They were so busy counting their stolen wealth that they didn't notice the figure watching them from the shadows. Kimi began her haunting slowly. First, she appeared to the servants. "Mama Kimi," the cook screamed when she saw her in the kitchen. "But you dead?" "Am I?" Kimi asked softly, then vanished. Word spread quickly through the compound. The servants whispered of seeing Kimi's ghost, but Adani dismissed it as grief and superstition. Then Kimi appeared to Tunde in his room. He woke up to find her sitting in the corner, her eyes glowing like candles. "Hello, Uncle Tunde," she said sweetly. Tunde rubbed his eyes, sure he was dreaming. When he looked again, she was gone. But she left behind her father's favorite ring on his bedside table, the one they had buried with Chief Bola. Tunde ran to Adani's room, shaking like a leaf. "She's alive. Kimi is alive." "Don't be stupid," Adani snapped. "We buried her ourselves. You having nightmares?" But the next night, Kimi appeared to both of them during dinner. "Enjoying my father's food?" she asked, materializing at the head of the table. Adani screamed and threw her plate. When she looked again, Kimi was gone, but written in the spilled soup were the words, "I know what you did." From that night on, neither killer could rest. Kimi appeared everywhere, in mirrors, in shadows, in their dreams. She would whisper their crimes back to them, describe exactly how they had murdered her father, remind them of every evil thing they had done. Make it stop. Tunde begged Adani. She's driving me mad. She's dead. Adani screamed. The dead can't hurt us. But Kimi had bigger plans than just scaring them. She began appearing to the townspeople, telling them the truth about her father's death and her own attempted murder. At first, people thought they were seeing a ghost. But when she led them to her grave and showed them the wooden box, they realized she was somehow alive. The police were called. They dug up the evidence: the box, the rope, the shovel with Tunde's fingerprints. When they searched the house, they found the poison hidden in Adani's room. But the most damning evidence came when Kimi appeared to the chief of police and spoke in her grandmother's voice, revealing exactly how the murders were planned and carried out. Arrest them, she commanded with otherworldly authority. Let justice be done. When the police came for them, Adani and Tunde tried to run. But everywhere they turned, Kimi was there, blocking their path, her eyes blazing with righteous anger. You cannot escape, she told them. You can run from the law, but you cannot run from justice. They were arrested, tried, and convicted of murder. But their punishment didn't end there. In their prison cells, they were tormented by visions of their victims. Chief Bowler appeared to Adani every night, asking why she had poisoned him when he had loved her. Kimi appeared to Tunde, showing him what it felt like to be buried alive. They both went mad within a year. But what happened to Kimi? After justice was served, her grandmother's spirit appeared to her one final time. Your work is done, my child. Now you must choose again. Return to the world of the living, or join your ancestors in peace. Kimi looked around at the home where she had known such love and such betrayal. She thought of her father, waiting for her in the afterlife. She thought of the life she could still live, but would always be marked by tragedy. I choose peace, grandmama. Then come, my daughter. Your father is waiting. And with that, Kimi faded away like morning mist, finally at rest. The townspeople never forgot her story. They built a shrine where her grave had been, and mothers would bring their children there to teach them important lessons. See what happens, they would say, when greed consumes the heart? See how evil destroys itself? But also see how justice will always find a way, even from beyond the grave. Chief Bowler's wealth was distributed to the town's orphans and widows, as Kimi had always wanted. The house where so much evil had occurred was turned into a school, where children learned not just reading and writing, but the difference between right and wrong. And sometimes, on quiet evenings, teachers would see a gentle figure in the schoolyard, watching over the children with loving eyes. They say it was Kimi's spirit, still protecting the innocent, still teaching them that a pure heart is the greatest protection of all. The moral of this story is clear. Greed is a poison that destroys everything it touches. Those who choose evil may prosper for a time, but justice will always find them in the end. And most importantly, a pure heart, like Kimi's, is stronger than any evil, because it connects us to powers greater than ourselves. What did you think of today's story? Have you ever encountered someone whose greed blinded them to love and loyalty? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this tale with others who need to hear its powerful message. Until next time, see you in the next video.